Muito bom dia, pessoal. Estamos aí ao vivo mais uma vez. Hoje, 28 de abril de 2025. Agora, pelo horário de Brasília, são 9 horas e 43 minutos. Estamos iniciando mais uma transmissão aqui no canal WillPTV. Hoje, a missão FLTA006, Message in a Booster. Lançamento número 1 da FireFly em 2025 com veículo Alpha. Hoje estão levando uma carga aí de um satélite LM400 da Lockheed Martin. Tempo de missão hoje, o tempo de missão hoje será a duração de 12 minutos e 42 segundos. O horário de lançamento então está previsto para acontecer às 10h37 da manhã pelo horário de Brasília, em Vandenberg, na Califórnia. O lançamento era para ter sido ontem, mas como tivemos então problemas com relação à parte climática na Califórnia, por enquanto, então, tudo segue em andamento para hoje, tá? Lembrando também que ontem era para ter tido então, o lançamento do Starlink, a missão Starlink do grupo 119, Califórnia, também em Vandenberg, mas foi transferido para hoje, logo mais tarde. Só que nesse horário, eu não vou poder então fazer a transmissão para vocês, tá bom? Então, já estou aguardando contato com a FireFly, de acordo com o nosso cronômetro. Aí faltam 52 minutos para o lançamento. Não se esqueça de deixar o like na transmissão, de se inscrever no canal. Falta apenas uma inscrição aí para a gente bater a marca de 1.130 inscritos no canal, tá? Quem puder, então, aí que ainda não se inscreveu, se inscreva. E também não se esqueça, né? Se puder também deixar uma contribuição aqui no canal para que a gente possa continuar crescendo, se aprimorando mais e mais, né? Temos aí nosso QR Code do Pix aí para vocês aí, tá? Então só estamos aguardando então o início da transmissão com a FireFly dentro de instantes. E aí a gente já vai entrar ao vivo lá em Vandenberg, na Califórnia. O WillPTV sempre mostrando tudo que acontece ao redor do mundo e também na Estação Espacial Internacional. Vou falar aí na Estação Internacional, na Espacial Internacional, dia 1º de maio, caminhada espacial. Vamos acompanhar na íntegra para vocês, então, toda a caminhada espacial aí no dia 1º de maio. Estamos aguardando aqui o contato com a FireFly. Mais alguns instantes. Enquanto isso, vão compartilhando e vamos também aí deixar o seu like na transmissão. Agora, pelo horário de Brasília, são 9 horas e 47 minutos. De acordo com o nosso tempo regressivo, faltam aí 50 minutos para o lançamento. Hoje, então, aí com o veículo Alpha, né, para vocês. O lançamento de hoje. Lembrando que esta é a sexto voo, então, do Alpha, da empresa FireFly. Hoje aí com um satélite aí da LM400. enquanto não começa a transmissão, né, vamos falar um pouquinho sobre o nosso veículo de hoje, né, do Alpha, né? Nosso veículo de hoje, o Alpha, né, ele tem aí 2 estágios, tá? Tem 2 estágios. Ele já começou. Já estamos, então, no ar. Hoje a transmissão é em conjunto com a NASA Space Flight. Deixa eu só botar aqui. NASA Space Flight está em conjunto aí com a FireFly. Os parceiros aí. Vamos lá acompanhar então. Fiquem juntos até o final da transmissão. WillPTV, sempre juntos com vocês. Lembrando que amanhã teremos aí a tentativa de lançamento do projeto Kuiper da Amazon com o Atlas 5. Porém, por conta do horário do lançamento, eu não irei conseguir transmitir para vocês. Então, hoje missão com o nome Message in a Booster. O 6º voo, então, aí do Alpha FireFly Vandenberg, na Califórnia. 9 horas e 50 minutos pelo horário de Brasília. Né, hoje a transmissão lá em Vandenberg, em conjunto então com a NASA Space Flight. Para vocês as imagens hoje. Então já estamos iniciando a nossa transmissão em conjunto com a NASA Space Flight, FireFly. E vamos em frente.
Good morning. If you're looking for a rocket, we've got one on the screen for you right now. Welcome to the FireFly Aerospace broadcast. It is Flight 6 of FireFly's Alpha rocket. We are currently less than 50 minutes away, coming up on 45 minutes away. My name is John Galloway with NASASpaceflight.com, and today we're providing launch media services for FireFly. Today's launch is scheduled for 6:37 a.m. Pacific time, and we've got a 52-minute launch window that's going to close at 7:29. So a little bit of time to get this rocket off the pad this morning. Name of the booster, or name of the mission, actually, is Message in a Booster, and it's coming out of Southern California, SLC-2 at Vandenberg Space Force Base. You can see it there on the map as we zoom in there on the coast. Y'all know how this is, though. I don't like to just talk about rockets by myself. I get people over here that know a lot more about them than me. In fact, people that build the rockets. So please welcome to the broadcast this Morgan. this morning, Morgan Fiane, who is a composites responsible engineer for FireFly. Good morning, Morgan.
Morning. Good to be here.
I like that. Good Morgan.
Good Morgan. Yeah.
All right. Give us a quick background. You've been on the stream before. Let us know what you do for FireFly.
Yeah, so I'm a composite structures responsible engineer, and what that means is I'm kind of responsible for a lot of the big pieces of the rocket, all the big carbon fiber composites that make up our propellant tanks.
Right.
I'm responsible for several of those from design through handoff to integration.
It's like the rocket pieces of the rocket.
Yes, the rocket.
The rocket parts. Nice. All right. So this morning we're launching a mission for Lockheed Martin. Tell us a little bit about the LM400 satellite on board.
Yeah, so Lockheed's LM400 is a tech demo. So this is a brand new satellite. This mission is to prove out that technology. And this is actually the second mission that FireFly is launching for Lockheed Martin. And it's the first of our multi-launch agreement. So brand new, it's kind of an agreement to launch up to 25 alphas over 5 years.
Gotcha. So not just like a 1-2 sort of thing for Lockheed Martin. They're up to 25 different launches in the contract.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a step in the right direction when we start to prove enough trust with our customers to get these multi-mission launches.
Gotcha. And this is the largest payload FireFly's launched to date, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about the size of a fridge.
Like a fridge, like in your kitchen refrigerator sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right.
So last launch, we launched several small CubeSats for NASA, and this time we're launching a fridge for Lockheed Martin.
All right. So this morning, folks, so far the weather is looking great. I mean, look there out at Vandenberg, you can actually see the rocket, so that's a start for the West Coast. But weather looking good and proceeding with the count, now just under 43 minutes. It's exciting to see FireFly doing these multi-launch agreements. It's good to have some business in the hopper there, right?
Yeah, I love job security.
Love job security. Excellent. So far, to get to this point, it's been days on the road towards this launch attempt. What's the team accomplished so far?
So they have been super busy, not only in the last couple hours, but in the last couple weeks.
Right.
So even in the past couple days, so we've integrated the satellite to the PAF, even since the last launch attempt.
The PAF is the
payload attachment.
Payload attachment.
Yeah. We've completed final payload checkouts, made sure it's fueled and ready to fly and good to go. We've encapsulated that payload in the fairing, so kind of clamshelled it with the two halves.
Yep.
We've wheeled that out to the barn in the last 2 days and transported it to mate to a horizontal alpha.
Gotcha. That's what you see sort of there, the encapsulation on the screen.
Yeah.
And we're out on the pad. The rocket's vertical. We've seen that a few different times. Love the reflection shots, by the way.
It's a great shot.
But we are now less than 42 minutes away from this launch attempt. So folks, over the course of the stream, let us know over in the chat. We are going to be reading some of your chats and seeing what is going on over there. Let's see here. Morgan, to get to here so far today, the team's been working for basically all night long to get ready. Let's run through that real quick.
Yeah, so in the last 8 hours, again, these guys have been working overnight. So we've configured the pad for flight. We've started our stage 1 fuel load and our stage 2 fuel load. And we're about to go. In total, it's about 3,000 individual manual steps that they run through on a checklist.
Yep.
Just making sure everything's good to go. And I think it's accompanied by something like 50 or more automation sequences.
Just like computer programs that tick off a bunch of things while the rocket gets itself ready almost.
Yeah, just churning through the list. Like, these guys are on the ball. They're burning it down really quick.
All right, good deal. How are we counting? Down to 41 minutes. It really does make my day that we can see the rocket out there on the pad. We're going to have the sun sort of coming up behind this camera shot here shortly. But one question we get all the time is, will you be able to see the rocket? Here we can see it on the pad. But over the West Coast today, you have lots of viewing opportunities for Alpha. We should get that good low-angle sun illuminating the plume. Here's a graphic. If you're out there all the way down to LA, be looking to the west. Maybe all the way up to San Francisco, you might be able to see it about a minute after launch. Down in San Diego, of course, look out to your west. This trajectory is going sort of south this morning, so it may fly right past you. And all the way over into the desert states, Las Vegas, you've got New Mexico in there as well, maybe Albuquerque. Portland, maybe a bit of a stretch, but hey, what do you have to lose? Listen into the live stream here, and we will let you know when to go outside and look. Now, if you get a good shot, check us on social media. It's Firefly_space. Hey, the best camera is the one that you have. Use your cell phone. Use whatever you have. I don't know if your doorbell camera catches it. Tag us on social media and let us know what you saw. And if you got questions for us, tag us in chat at Firefly Space here on YouTube. So, Morgan, we're going to have some other Fireflies here on the broadcast to talk about Blue Ghost Mission 1 and the medium launch vehicle. But first, let's really quickly talk about the payload on Alpha a little bit more.
Yeah, so LM-400 for Lockheed Martin is their new multi-mission satellite, and it can serve anywhere from civil to military to commercial uses.
Gotcha.
So it kind of covers a big range of potential customers. It's got capabilities for remote sensing, communications, imaging, and kind of radar use cases, all that good stuff. So it's actually what inspired our mission name and patch.
The message in a booster.
Message in a booster, being
Nice.
a communications kind of payload.
In fact, let's hear some more from directly from Lockheed Martin here about LM-400 as we continue to count down, coming up on T-minus 39 minutes before launch.
Hey there, I'm Robert Lightfoot, president of Lockheed Martin Space. This launch is yet another historic moment for our company, and this collaboration with the FireFly Aerospace team makes it possible. Benefiting from the rapid launch capability from FireFly, our Lockheed Martin team will not only be able to pressure test our innovations, but also drive critical missions for years to come. This is the first of our many launches in our agreement with FireFly, and an important milestone as we continue to work together. This steady manifest is mutually beneficial for the growth of both our teams. So what is this Lockheed Martin funded demonstration all about? Simply put, it's about innovation. The launch of this LM-400 tech demo further validates the investment we've made to drive down risk for our mid-sized multi-mission LM-400 satellite. As a platform, this is our most flexible bus and can be customized to support a variety of missions, including remote sensing, communications, and imaging in any orbit. Today's launch continues pathfinding for the LM-400, showcasing a few on-orbit maneuvers and operations and utilizing our SmartSat technology to demonstrate payload initialization on board. These critical tests will ensure that when deployed on orbit in an official mission scenario, the LM-400 will work.
Agora, pelo horário de Brasília, são 10 horas.
Today is an exciting day.
Vocês estão chegando agora, estamos acompanhando o voo número 6 do Alpha da FireFly, aí para a missão Message e a Booster. Faltando então 37 minutos e 20 segundos para o lançamento. Estamos aí com o veículo Alpha da FireFly em Vandenberg, na Califórnia. O horário do lançamento está previsto para acontecer às 10 horas e 37 minutos do dia 28 de abril de 2025. Hoje então com a Lockheed Martin. Satélite LM-400. 37 minutos para o lançamento. Hoje, então, aí, nossa transmissão em conjunto com a NASA Spacefly. Nossos amigos aí da NASA Spacefly. Continuando então a nossa transmissão, não se esqueça de deixar o seu like, se inscrever no canal e também deixar uma contribuição aí, né? Tá bom? Vamos continuar então aí acompanhando a transmissão de WillPTV, sempre mostrando tudo o que acontece ao redor do mundo e também na Estação Espacial Internacional.
And that was about 25 days we spent after that in Earth orbit. And at that point, John, the mission's already starting. So we have payloads turning on, they're doing health checks, they're collecting data, and some of the payloads actually accomplish their primary missions like in this Earth orbit phase.
Like what, long before it was even on the moon?
That's correct. You know, they want to operate in this rad environment. Radiation, not
rad. Like awesome.
It depends. You know, if you're rad PC, this is rad. So yeah, you can see the separation there into the sun.
Yep.
And then our 25 days in Earth orbit. After this, we did our TLI, or our translunar injection. So you can see we're getting farther away from the Earth.
The Earth sort of receding in the background.
That's exactly right. And it took 4 days to get from the Earth to the moon. And after that, we did our LOI, or lunar orbit insertion, which, as the name suggests, put us in lunar orbit.
Sort of slamming on the brakes to get captured by the moon, I guess.
That's exactly right. And we spent another 16 days getting these awesome glory shots.
Nice. Yep. All the craters down there below as you sort of fly over the surface of the moon. Is that beautiful as a software engineer dealing with where you should go?
Yeah, it's beautiful for your eyes, but, you know, all we see is don't land there, don't land there, don't land there. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah, incredible imagery. Here you see on the left we have our X-band antenna, and on the right that's our Lexi payload. Lexi is an X-ray imager who's studying the interaction between solar winds and Earth's magnetic field. And that bright dot in the back, of course, is Earth.
Is the Earth.
Yep,
excellent.
That's our home.
Just so much imagery coming back from the mission, and so much of it was shared on social media by FireFly. It was a fantastic mission to watch.
Yes, and especially this day. That was final descent on March 2nd when we did our DOI, descent orbit insertion, which landed us safely and softly on the surface of the moon. And again, generated some of the best lunar imagery we've seen in a long time.
Look at this.
Yeah, including this video of Blue Ghost's shadow descending on the surface, which is insane. And we have our, wait for our flying rock.
There it goes.
That.
It almost made it to Earth. Not really.
I love that flying rock. Yeah, so yeah, the iconic silhouette shot. And so now that we've landed, Blue Ghost, this was now back-to-back payload operations on the surface
right.
until March 16th, which was lunar night, and thus the end of Blue Ghost Mission 1.
Gotcha. So there on the surface of the moon, you had already been doing some science en route, but you successfully touched down. You got that amazing image of the sort of silhouette right there on the top of that hill. It's almost like that moon landing was planned and well engineered, I think. But let's talk about the science that was done on the surface of the moon. There was a little bit of bonus science to start, a not unexpected event. We knew it was happening. It's just not in the mission plan originally.
That's exactly right. It was incredible because this lunar eclipse that we got a photo of was not part of the Blue Ghost mission requirements, but it was kind of a right place, right time kind of thing. And so while the Earth was seeing what we call a lunar eclipse from the moon's perspective, that was the Earth eclipsing the sun, so which gave this awesome shot and cast that shadow onto the moon, which makes it look red from the Earth.
Turning red, yeah.
That's exactly right. And so it took our solar power away, so we had to operate off battery power.
Probably got a lot colder too, right?
Yes, it did. It got cooler, which nothing Blue Ghost couldn't handle, and it gave our payloads another unique environment to operate and learn about.
Gotcha. So let's hit a couple of these specific mission or specific payloads really quickly. Starting off with LMS.
Yeah, a lot of exciting payloads on this mission. LMS is our Lunar Magnetotelluric Sounder.
It's easier to say LMS.
Yes, we call it LMS for short. So this is a deployable payload. You can see it being launched there on a spring launcher. That's our electrodes shooting out.
It's like the moon taser.
The LMS is designed to measure the moon's electric and magnetic fields to help us better understand its thermal evolution and how it's cooled and chemically changed since its formation. So yeah, it shoots out in all four directions to get a wide range of measurements.
We've got LPV.
Yes, that's Lunar Planet Vac. So that payload was able to successfully collect, transfer, and sort lunar soil, and that was a tech demo for a sample return mission.
You can sort of see there, I mean, the entire moon is already a vacuum, so having a vacuum doesn't help you much. It sort of blew the regolith into the collection area.
Correct. You don't have that pressure difference, so it's kind of pulling it back, shoving it back up into itself. And then, that's exactly right. And it's, very good.
We also made a hole in the moon, I think, right?
Yeah, we did. So we have
Small
Lister.
Hole.
Lister is the first pneumatic drill on an interplanetary body and the first robotic drill that's a scientific instrument. You can see it drilled in there about 3 feet into the lunar surface. And it was measuring the flow of heat through the moon's interior at different levels.
It's blowing rocks everywhere.
Again, flying rocks. We love the flying rocks.
Well, it looks like you might have got some dust on stuff.
That's exactly right. And if you're worried about that dust, not to worry, because EDS, our electrodynamic dust shield, was able to successfully lift and remove dust from glass and thermal radiator surfaces. So this is using electric fields. This is not like a mechanism or robotic arm. So you save a lot of mass.
You have servos or brushes or something like that. This is literally just energy.
That's exactly right. And dust is a huge problem on the moon. It's very, abrasive, and it sticks to everything. So this is a mission saver if you're talking about something like solar panels or other mission critical components.
Like cameras. I like cameras.
Exactly. Pixar didn't happen,
Pixar didn't happen. I like to keep the dust off of the optics there, so that would be my interest in that. It really has been an incredible mission to watch. What's next? Like, we landed on the moon. It was a solar power spacecraft. It operated from lunar sunrise to lunar sunset, a couple hours into the night there on the moon. Was there any possibility it might come back to life?
Yeah, unfortunately, Blue Ghost Mission 1 was designed not to survive lunar night. It was a lunar day mission.
It was a lunar day mission.
But that is a capability we're working on for future missions. Wink, wink. So,
wink, wink, nudge,
keep
nudge.
Up to date. But we did, as you said, manage to operate 5 hours into lunar night, and that gave us an awesome image of the lunar sunset. There it is right there, yep.
Excellent.
I'm partial to Earth's sunset, but there's
more color in the Earth's sunset. I think our atmosphere helps with that.
That's right. And as you said, for what's next, we have 120 gigabytes of data that NASA and the FireFly teams are working to learn more about and analyze, and hopefully these will unlock new insights to help future missions to the moon, Mars, and hopefully beyond.
120 gigabytes. I'd say that's a ton of data, but I don't know how much a gigabyte weighs. So.
I cannot tell. We're the lightest payload flights.
The lightest payload is the gigabytes. Nice.
And the most valuable, maybe.
And the most valuable. Yep. All right. So, folks, Blue Ghost, fantastic mission to watch. Ari, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a little insight into your work and the mission there on the road trip out to the moon. We really can't see enough of the Blue Ghost mission, so we're going to roll a little bit more footage for you here. And when we come back, we're going to talk about MLV.
Blue Ghost Riders, the path to the stars is no longer limited to nations alone. FireFly is building the road to the next frontier, one mission and one dream at a time. Tonight, we didn't just reach another mission milestone. Together, we created a moment in history.
All Khan, Chief Engineer on Ops. Y'all select the landing. Come around the wheel.
All right, y'all. We are currently under 29 minutes to launch as we continue to count down towards that T0 here coming up this morning for Alpha Flight 6. We've got another familiar face for you here. On the stream, we have Miles Gray, who's the Chief Engineer for MLV at FireFly. How's it going, Miles?
Pretty good.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great.
You're doing great.
Yeah,
all right.
Launch.
Tell us a little bit about MLV, the medium launch vehicle.
Yeah, MLV is like a big old reusable Alpha. It's got more engines. It's a lot bigger. It's like 192 feet long, 14 change wide, so it's way bigger than Alpha.
Right, Alpha's it almost fits inside of it.
Yeah,
not supposed to, but you know.
Super similar construction. Still carbon fiber tanks, tap off engines, all that jazz.
Is it fair to say you used a bunch of things that you learned flying Alpha and designing Alpha in MLV?
We literally sort of component by component. There is a big sister, big brother, whatever. Of almost every Alpha component on MLV.
So are they reused? Is just you use the engineering, or are there some similar components?
In some cases, it's straight up reuse. In others, in most cases, I would say it's probably taking a small thing and then making it bigger, sticking it in there.
So the engines, like on Alpha, we've got the Reaver and the Lightning engine. Are we continuing the theme on MLV?
Yes. So the Lightning, Reaver, then Miranda. Miranda's is 210,000 pounds compared to Reaver at 45. So it's a little less than 5 times bigger.
No kidding. And how does the thrust compare there between, let's say, Reaver and Miranda?
It's almost 5 times bigger. So it's a lot larger. It's very noisy. We're making through qualification right now. We've got the verification engines out there already.
Yeah.
And you can see here this is a mission duty cycle on Miranda. So 206 seconds. This is not full power. We're working up to full power right now.
No kidding.
But even at under full power, it's crazy loud.
It's a big engine.
Yeah, our neighbors are bad.
Good deal. So this test firing, it's not just an engine on paper. You're thinking about MLV. You have actual hardware that you're starting to qualify.
Big time. Yeah. We're working. We've got a lot of stuff making its way through the factory at any given moment.
Good deal. I'm wondering if we're just going to watch this entire test here. I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, me too. I've watched it a bunch of times already. So.
We've also got a Vera here. This is Vera.
We have Lightning and Reaver are kind of different sized engines on Alpha. We have basically the same engine twice on MLV. We have Miranda on the first stage and then Vera on the second stage. The only real difference is the chamber shape. So it's the same pump. It's exactly the same pump, same head end. It's just we've vacuum optimized Miranda. And that's Veranda.
Thank you. All right, and not only the engines you're working on, but you've got a main body structure.
Yeah, well. We have our flight tanks are built. We're making our way through there. We have all of the components. We haven't have it. It's not gotten out to test yet.
Right.
So there's still some final bonding and stuff that we still have to do, but all the big pieces are there.
When you say it's bigger, I mean there is a good sense of scale in terms of the folks walking in front of it. I mean
it's a human hamster wheel. It's gigantic.
A human hamster wheel. He says.
Alpha, you can basically touch both sides
right
at the same time. It's like 6 feet wide. This is
not even close on MLV there.
Yeah.
All right, and then we need a place on the rocket to attach the engines as well. So I think y'all are also working on the engine.
Yeah, we've got this basically all composite engine bay. So that's our thrust structure. That's kind of the most complicated structural element. There's a lot of pieces,
right.
And you're really that's a that is a hard structures problem to get all of the thrust of those engines and shear that out to the walls, right? So that ends up being a elaborate structure, and it's very pretty too. This doesn't do it justice, and I suspect we might never show it because it's
complicated.
It's complicated and cool, and like we maybe don't want to tell people about it, but it's really cool.
We want to tell you how complicated and cool it is. We don't want to show you exactly how the problem's been solved by Firefly engineers.
Trust me.
It's beautiful. Trust me. Excellent. So what's next for MLV? We've got hardware. You're starting to test things like engines and stuff like that. What's coming up?
Yeah, so we're getting a qualification on Miranda now.
Agora, pelo horário de Brasília, são 10 horas 13 minutos. Hoje, 28 de abril de 2025. Segunda-feira. Faltando então aí 24 minutos para o lançamento. Estamos aí acompanhando. São Message e na Booster. É o voo número 6, aí do Alpha da empresa FireFly. Hoje, transmissão está em conjunto com a NASA Spaceflight. Lançamento então lá em Vandenberg, na Califórnia, faltando então aí 23 minutos e 30 segundos para o lançamento. O horário do lançamento previsto ainda para acontecer às 10 horas e 37 minutos, pelo horário de Brasília. O WillPTV sempre mostrando tudo o que acontece no mundo e também na Estação Espacial Internacional. Vamos seguir então acompanhando a transmissão.
That's Pad 0A at the Wallops Flight Facility. It's in Virginia, on that Delmarva Peninsula.
Yeah,
right near Chincoteague.
Chincoteague.
Yeah,
nice. Wallops is a great place to watch launches. You get so close to the vehicles and sort of see them going with all that nature.
Eating oysters the whole time.
Eating oysters the whole time. Nice. Anything else? I mean, getting ready for first flight in 2026. Everything looks like it's going pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, so far so good. We're just chugging through it, right?
Just chugging through it.
Yeah.
With the new medium launch vehicle. Excellent. So here we're going to see a little bit more about MLV. We've got a little bit of a highlight reel to roll for you. Miles, so early in the morning, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, it's Miles Gray, the chief engineer for MLV over at FireFly. Getting ready. We saw some structures work there, I think, Morgan, didn't we?
Yeah, that's been a lot of my work for the last year, has been helping online the MLV program.
Good deal. So we are coming up very rapidly on the ready report that happens before terminal count. Give us some really quick background. We don't want to miss this. We know it's happening fast, Morgan.
Yeah, so the launch conductor, the LC, will ask for a go or no-go from every person in the mission control room. So it's going to be range and operations leads, it's going to be a payload lead, and over 20 Alpha subsystem leads who each have their own team who are looking at data, monitoring the health of the rocket, and making sure that they say go when it's time to say go.
When they say go. And again, it's not just one person. Each person represents an entire team of people working on a specific part of the system or rocket or operation. You've got payload people, you've got structures people, you've got propulsion people. We like to mention them too, I guess. Sort of important for the rocket flight there. But that is coming up in just about...
To the direct vehicle state update in the GUI.
Let's listen in.
This is the RC on Countdown 1. The source selection server is changing and minor data lags are expected at this time. Switching to ETRS 44 Alpha.
This is the launch conductor on the countdown net with a ready report for terminal count. RC.
Go.
FSW.
Go.
GSW. GNC.
Go.
Prop 1.
Go.
Fluids 1.
Hold.
Structures.
Go.
AVI.
AVI go.
FTS.
Go.
GC.
Go.
VC.
Go.
PMM.
Go.
LWO.
Go.
FISPO.
Go.
NIFCO. OSM.
Agora
ROC.
estamos acompanhando o
MA.
range do gol no
CE.
gol para o lançamento.
LD.
Let's circle back at 17. Give us 2 minutes.
Copy 17.
Por enquanto, até o momento, tudo em ordem, mas,
TELC
All
on
right,
CD1.
so in the poll there,
In work.
mas aí estamos aí aguardando aí a marca de 17
We'll listen.
minutos.
yeah.
Pra
All right,
confirmação
in the
aí
poll
de
there, we actually
outro-
heard a hold, I believe, on the fluids call, and a circle back at T-minus 17 minutes. So we've got about a minute and a half. Again, we don't want to miss those call-outs. We want to listen into what's going on mission control, which is why we cut over to the mission control camera and listen.
Estamos aí, estão agora esperando a marca de 17 minutos, né, para confirmar todo o range, né, do gol no gol para o lançamento. No caso aí, dessa vez, tem a ver com a relação do combustível, né? Combustível. É o abastecimento, né? Então aí, estamos aguardando então a marca de 17 minutos para confirmação então do todo o range do gol no gol. Vai ou não vai para o lançamento. Estamos acompanhando então o voo 6 do Alpha da FireFly. As Space Fly. Vamos continuar acompanhando.
Finish load the prop, maintain loading the prop. Lockheed Martin logo up there on the top of the fairing. Of course, that's the mission today. Lockheed Martin's LM400 satellite. And coming up in about 20 seconds.
Go on CD1.
Please reperform your poll.
Copy.
Let's listen back
Reperforming the
in.
poll.
You are good to just poll people who were either a hold or did not answer last time.
Good copy. This is the launch conductor on countdown net with a ready report for terminal count. GSW. CE.
C is go for terminal count.
LD.
GSW, are you go for current terminal count?
Yeah, as long as we are okay with the battery charge, yeah, we go.
Fluids, where you go?
Yes, go.
LDs go.
LDA.
Estamos aí aguardando então aí os dois últimos aí do range do gol no gol para o lançamento. Aí pronto, tudo verde para o lançamento, tudo ok.
CELC on CD1. Confirm LCC gate check. Terminal count is clear to
Está
proceed.
completo, tudo verde.
LCC.
Tudo verde para o
All right,
lançamento.
folks, you heard it right there. The folks we didn't hear from before did check in and across the board got a go for launch. Now coming up on about T-minus 16 minutes. Now, we don't have a lot of time here. We had that little poll recycle. So really quickly, let's talk about the parts that make up Alpha, including the structures.
Including the structures. The most important part, in my personal, unbiased opinion. Yeah, so Alpha is a two-stage Caralox rocket that can take a little over 1,000 kilograms to LEO, being low Earth orbit. You got to check me on these acronyms.
It's all good.
They're kind of part of my lingo. Alpha is the largest vehicle in the small lift class. And the reason it can do this is because of two things. One is our engines. So all of our engines are designed and built and tested in-house.
Right.
We've got 4 Reavers on stage 1, and we have a single Lightning engine on stage 2. All of these guys are tap-off cycle engines, which is basically what that means is some of the high-pressure combustion gas in the chamber is yoinked to feed back into the turbines that help the pumps pull more fluid from the tanks, and then it's just kind of a cycle that keeps going on.
I like it. That's an engineering term, yoink.
Tentando comentar com vocês. Veículo então aí de
Good deal.
dois
Now,
estágios.
we've got engines, of course. We talked about those, but the engines have to be attached to something.
Yeah, you're right. What do you see when you look at that rocket up there, John?
Well, mostly rocket.
Oh, that's right, the structures.
The structures of the rocket.
Back into my comfort zone. Let's go back to structures. So, yeah, part 2 of why Alpha can be what Alpha is because of the carbon fiber composites that make up the structure of the rocket. Carbon fiber is my bread and butter. It's super strong, super lightweight, so you can end up lifting more payload at a lower cost.
Right.
Yeah.
Now it takes some work to get the carbon fiber put together, as opposed to just machining it out of metal or something like that.
Yeah.
But you really do get the lessened weight, so you have more room for more propellant or more room for payload, right?
Yeah, exactly. And something special about this rocket in particular is that the Stage 2 LOX tank up there, you can kind of see it, it's a little dark, is our first AFP flight tank that we will be flying on Alpha.
AFP is
automated fiber placement.
Automated fiber placement, like a big machine that can repeat the process very precisely. It can do the same results over and over again because it's basically a big computer-controlled creation
it's a
machine.
big arm that can lay down strips of carbon fiber. So kind of the goal is to make Alpha a very repeatable, reliable workforce. And this is one of the ways that we help do that. AFP makes production 9 times faster and 7 times cheaper for Alpha, and we're baselining AFP for LMOD.
And that doesn't mean that there are no hand layouts where humans are on it. Like sometimes the structures are too small, or just the size doesn't fit the automated machine, or the geometry is a little bit complex, right?
Yeah, so we're not losing some of that, you know, like handcrafted artisan beauty that we're known for.
Agora há pouco então tivemos a confirmação do gol no gol para o lançamento, né? O range, o nota dela. O lançamento então aí tudo concluído, tudo verde. Estamos prontos para o lançamento.
We've made at FireFly ever. This is actually a chunk of our development.
O horário então aí se mantém às 10 horas e 37 minutos, né, para o início então aí da abertura da janela de lançamento. Então 10 horas e 37 minutos.
This is what we call a sandwich laminate.
It looks like a sandwich. It looks like an ice cream sandwich.
It looks like an ice cream sandwich, yeah. And so you can kind of see it's a little messy because carbon dust is everywhere, but there's 2 really, really small layers, multiple layers of carbon fiber on the 2 outsides. Like
the carbon fiber cookie.
The cookies, yeah. So those are the super strong that's what carries all the load. And then in the middle, you see we have a foam core. So that does 2 things. One, it kind of makes this whole thing act like an I-beam, and it provides extra stiffness to the structure. And what it also does is it provides thermal shielding for the propellants inside the tanks. So when you're thinking about like negative 300 degree, you know, cryogenic LOX, and then Vandy air on the outside, you kind of have to protect that a little bit. So
gotcha.
It's a two-part system, and I also brought today
the test hammer.
The tap hammer.
The tap hammer.
Yeah. So carbon fiber is can be very sensitive to damage, and one of the ways that we can detect damage is with something called tap testing.
Okay.
Tap testing is a form of NDI that we use at FireFly.
Non-destructive inspection.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
And basically what we do is, I had a coin with me last time. This time it's a hammer. The hammers, there's some debate among the structures people.
It looks very engineered, like it looks like a scientific instrument.
What's cool is that this part of the handle is actually made out of piano wire.
Okay.
So not only can you hear a potential defect when you're tapping, you can also kind of feel the vibrations in your hand a little better.
Can you tap it on put it up to the mic and see if we can hear it?
You want it right on the mic?
No, not right on the mic.
Right on the mic.
You're the structures person. And if it was debonded or something like that, it would sound different. It would sound like thump instead of a nice tap, right?
Yeah, it would sound like a very kind of dull thunk. So that is not what you want to hear.
That's not what you want to hear.
When I'm diving into tanks and tapping and making sure things are all fine after an ATP, you don't want to hear thunks.
All right. So, folks, we are rapidly approaching T-minus 11 minutes now. Things are going to start happening very quickly. So, Morgan, let's walk through what's happening next as we count down these final minutes before launch.
Sure. Yeah, so right about now, we're executing over 300 commands and health checks. A lot of these include, we're already into stage 1 engine chill. So what happens with that is we're pulling cryogenic fluid through our LOX pumps in order to chill them down. Make sure we're kind of adjusting the temperature of those LOX pumps to not be... They're not going to flash the LOX.
Right, you don't want to surprise them with a big dramatic temperature change, right?
Yeah, we want to make sure everything's behaving as expected and the temperatures that we expect when we go to pull the trigger. So that's happening right now. We've done ground side prep, so we've got TTEB, TVC, and spin start verifications.
So thrust vector control and triethyl aluminum, triethyl borane.
Nice.
Yeah.
I believe you. You don't have to convince me. I have no idea what that stands for. I just know it's our igniter. Look, I'm a structures engineer, not a chemist.
It just really wants to be on fire to light the engine. So
yeah, it really does.
We've got some fuel pre-press happening. We might be able to see the stage 2 TVC wiggles coming up here. This camera right here might actually show those, checking out for smooth movement and stuff.
Yeah, so here on this camera, we might see those reavers start to wiggle a bit. And what we're looking for there is not only that they do move, because we're expecting them to move, but also that they move smoothly. so that there's not an indication of like air in the lines.
They don't like judder or jitter or anything like that.
And again, we do all this beforehand and make sure the rocket's healthy so that when we go to fly, we don't run into any of these issues.
We don't get down to like T-8 or T-7, like, hey, we should probably check the TVC now. Like that was happening early this morning.
That's awkward. We should have done that before.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
All right, so we're going to go to internal power. We're going to see some more things on the screen, sort of big motions, like the collar arms opening up, the strong back retracting away from the rocket to get out of the way, arming of the flight termination system. We won't really see that, but we are going to see some more venting as they start to bleed the fuel.
Yeah, we should see that on the cameras.
All right. So, folks, we continue to count down here now, T-9 minutes, it looks like. We're going to keep going through all of these different cameras to show you the different views of the rocket as it wakes up for this early morning launch.
Well, that's the cool stuff.
Really
we want to show the cool stuff.
It is the cool stuff. Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about what's going to happen after launch, because we have some specific expectations after launch this morning.
Yeah. So, approximate timing for what's going to happen when we start to get closer to T0. At T-2 seconds, we're actually going to ignite our reavers on stage 1. What that does, why we do it at T-2 seconds, is to not only give them some time to spool up into full power, but also to kind of, again, health checks, make sure everything's fine.
Like stabilize.
Stabilize, make sure everything's good before we let it go. We don't want to let it go and then be like, oh, wait a second.
By the way, right.
So T-2 seconds is stage 1 ignition. At T-0, we actually open up those mechanisms that hold Alpha down on the ground, and we start to lift off. And then we'll be flying for about a minute, and then we'll go supersonic. We'll hit Mach 1.
Right.
And then a couple seconds after that, we'll actually hit something called Max Q.
Max Q is important.
Max Q, near and dear to my heart.
As a structures engineer.
As a structures engineer, yeah. So Max Q is maximum aerodynamic pressure.
Right.
And what that means for a rocket, at least, is we're going faster and faster and faster. But we're also going into a thinner and thinner atmosphere.
Yeah. All right, folks, on the screen really quickly, we'll interrupt. You can see that right above me here, the clock has gone into a hold. It sounds like there is currently an issue with the spacecraft that the team is working, so that clock is going to stop right there just above 8 minutes. Now, we're going to keep talking to you, and we'll get you more information as soon as we have it. Let's keep talking about what will happen here after liftoff. Going to assume that we're going to get a new T0 here, but we had gotten all the way down to MECO, the main engine cutoff, and we were starting to talk about the stage separation, right?
Yeah, so after we shut off our stage 1 engines, we'll start to shed mass that we don't need anymore.
Right.
So we'll have nominal stage sep at T+2 minutes and 37 seconds. So the primary function of the first stage is to take us on a kind of suborbital elliptical trajectory out of the Earth's kind of the majority of the Earth's atmosphere.
Okay.
And what stage 2 does is to take us to a proper orbit. So once stage 1 has done its job, we just kind of, we're like, okay, thank you, bye.
So it's sort of like the booster itself, the larger part of the rocket, gets you up out of the atmosphere. Like most of its trajectory is up, right? And then the second stage sort of needs you to go around the planet. Like if you want to go into space, that's fine. You can just jump straight up. Guess what? You're going to come straight back down again. If you want to stay in space via an orbit, you actually have to end up going around the Earth. And that's really the job of that second stage, to get that horizontal velocity as you sort of, gravity pulls you down towards the planet. Right?
Yeah.
Your spacecraft falls down towards the planet, but if you get going fast enough, the planet actually curves away from you at the same rate that you sort of go around the planet. Your velocity is taking you around the planet. So second stage really doing a lot of work there, not just to get you into space, but actually keep you in space.
Yeah, keep you falling forever.
Falling forever, exactly.
That was a whole time.
So yeah, after stage sep, you'll see a bunch of things happening really quickly. You'll see... Sorry, got some voices in our ears.
No, it's all good. We're continually getting updates here that we'll share with you. A quick reminder, folks, we do have a 52-minute window this morning, so they've got time to work on that spacecraft issue. You'll see that the clock has jumped up a little bit there to put some more time to work through this. Currently still in a hold, but we were targeting the beginning of the window there. We have lots of time to actually work through this, and we're going to keep hanging out with you here in the meantime.
Yeah.
Sounds like we may have another go, no-go poll here, so let's listen back into mission control.
This is the launch conductor on the countdown net with a readiness check for entering recycle operations. RC.
Go.
FSW.
Go.
GSW.
Go.
GNC.
Go.
Fluids 1.
Go.
Prop 1.
Go.
AVI.
Hold.
FTS.
Go.
FISPO.
Go.
IFCO.
Go.
PMM.
Go.
MA.
Go.
OSM.
Go.
CE.
Hold.
MD. LD.
AVI and CE, this is just for recycle operations.
I'm good for recycle operations, not for terminal count.
Not
AVI is
terminal
go
count.
for recycle operations.
LD is go.
Copy.
Estamos aí em tempo de hold neste momento. Estou tentando ajustar aqui o meu cronômetro também. Eu tive um pequeno problema aí na programação aqui, não sei o que aconteceu. Não estou conseguindo alterar a mensagem.
PCLC on CD1.
Nope.
You resume locks cross-country chill auto sequence.
Still running.
Copy. NGC verify the helium autos are toggled high.
Helium autos are good on CD1.
Agora eu consigo.
All right, folks, we're going to keep listening in here. The best way to get up-to-date information is to let you listen directly to mission control instead of us listening and then relaying it. So, as a reminder, we have a 52-minute window. We're just eating into it a little bit here, but almost an hour to work through these issues. We're going to keep listening into mission control because that's the best way to get you up-to-date information. So keep on hanging out, listen in, and let's see what they work through.
Agora 10 horas e 36 minutos pelo horário de Brasília. Estamos então no tempo de hold, né? Estamos aguardando então aí para ver o que vai ser feito, né? Ainda estamos dentro do prazo então de janela de lançamento. Né? Estamos aguardando então aí a decisão da equipe lá da direção de voo, né? Do Alpha.
So as we continue to listen in here, Morgan, there was actually another poll.
Por enquanto, estão tudo em
Every time they talk, I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah, I don't want to talk over them.
VCLC CD1.
Go.
Run Daily's terminal count configuration auto sequence.
Copy. Running.
CELC CD1. Verify we are still go for terminal count with LCCs.
In work. We need to switch to flight mode.
Standby 1.
What we're listening into now are the recycle operations. That poll that we saw come up was not another launch poll, but a poll for the teams to proceed into basically resetting the rocket, getting ready for another attempt.
Yeah. And we can do this for a number of reasons. The team is super prepared. This is just kind of part of launch ops. And we also,
PCLC on
one of the reasons
CD1.
we can do this is we fill our...
PCLC CD1.
Go on CD1.
VC, load the alpha terminal count config auto sequence.
Copy.
Need to switch to flight mode.
Terminal count loaded.
Yeah. Can we go to flight mode?
Copy, going to flight.
E aí voltamos com o tempo regressivo novamente lá na FireFly.
On City 1, we have met the terminal count LCC gate. PC verify set the operation selector to launch.
Set.
Run hide SB auto pinner engage auto sequence. And verify HPU startup it gets completed. PC run and load and run deluge terminal count configuration auto sequence.
It's already loading. Expected alarm.
Vamos aqui configurar então novamente.
PC verify /set vehicle state machine is in flight mode. PC verify HPU startup gets complete and SP auto pinners get positive pressure. MVC run the hide collar arm engage auto sequence.
Copy.
And verify that the collars get there. Verify hide lift status is equal to 3, SP at 90.
Confirmed.
Estou configurando aqui o cronômetro, tá, pessoal? Aguento mais um pouco.
BC verify the battery charging autos are not still running.
Confirmed.
This is the launch conductor on the countdown net whistle readiness report for terminal count. RC.
Go.
FSW.
Go.
GSW.
Go.
GNC.
Go.
Prop 1.
Go.
Fluids 1.
Go.
Structures.
Então, novo horário
ABI.
para o lançamento, 10 horas e
FTS.
55 minutos.
GC.
Go.
VC.
Go.
PMM.
Go.
LO.
Go.
FISBO.
Go.
MIFCO. OSM. ROC.
Go.
MA.
Go.
CE.
C's go.
LD.
Go.
LDA.
LDA clear.
CE confirm LCC is met and terminal count is clear to proceed. VC run the terminal count auto sequence.
LCCs are met. Good to go.
You missed it. We have to reset.
So folks, you can see there in the upper left-hand corner, there is a clock. We heard a bunch of goes there once again. If you're just joining us, we encountered a brief hold there as we were counting down towards
Mais uma
Flight 6
vez
of
aí,
Firefly's
então,
Alpha
estamos
rocket.
acompanhando
Currently we're
aí a
under
FireFly com a missão Message in Booster. O voo número 6 aí do Alpha em Vandenberg, na Califórnia. Tivemos então o nosso primeiro tempo de hold, né, aí antes 8 minutos antes do lançamento. Então aí novo horário do lançamento agora previsto para acontecer às 10 horas e 55 minutos, dentro de 14 minutos. Provavelmente foi questão de combustível, mas agora está tudo em ordem até o momento. Tá? Então novamente aí estamos entrando na fase final aí da contagem regressiva para o lançamento. Ok? Então quem quiser acompanhar, então vamos acompanhar ao vivo para vocês, direto de Vandenberg, na Califórnia. O WillPTV sempre mostrando tudo o que acontece ao redor do mundo e na Estação Espacial Internacional.
And GC verify that helium autos are triggered high. GNC LC on CD1.
Não se esqueça de estar se inscrevendo no canal se ainda não se inscreveu e deixa o seu like na transmissão. Quanto mais like tiver na transmissão, mais relevante será a nossa transmissão aí.
Copy, looking at sign off on 28.3. Can work.
Go.
We'll translate a little bit. Sounds there like the upper level winds were still good.
The RC count at 1.
Of course, the winds are something that we can't really see. The upper level winds we can't see on the camera, but the rest of this, the clouds, the sky above the launch pad there, looking great this morning.
Yeah, we have two conditions to stay below, one for upper level winds and one for lower level, and we're still green for both of those.
That's what you like to hear. And it didn't sound like we were in a situation where, oh, if we don't hit the beginning of the window, the weather is going to rapidly deteriorate. You hear that in launch.
Go on CD1.
Yes, ma'am. The updated T0 is now live and the clock is counting down. I'm waiting on feedback from the range as far as final approval, which I should get in about 8 minutes here. We're at T-minus 25 minutes and counting.
Copy. Is there anything they can do moving to Albion?
And quick update there. There we go. So quick update there. We heard T-minus 25 minutes. So we've pulled the clock off the top of the screen so that we can get that resynchronized with the new T0. Sounds like they were waiting on one final approval from the range, it sounded like.
Breve, tá, pessoal? Mais uma vez aí. Então aí, novo T0.
But Alpha looking good on the pad. There we have
Novo
a clock
T0
that's
aí.
slid back over. Again, had a 52-minute window this morning, so sometime, that's why we're targeting the beginning of the window. Weather was looking great. The launch vehicle was looking great. Just ran into that one brief hold, but we are back on the count. T-minus 25 minutes and counting down.
Novo T0 aí, 11 horas da manhã e 9 minutos.
Same story. We're going to listen in, and if we hear anything from Mission Control, we'll be quiet and let you hear that. If we get any updates on our headsets, we'll share them with you as well. But while we're waiting, we've got a couple questions that have come through chat. Remember, if you have questions for us, tag us in chat at FireFly Space over there. That'll get it into our back channel queue. And we might have a little bit of time here to answer some of them. But one of them that came through, name of the mission is Message in a Booster. What's the message?
Ooh, I didn't study. I didn't study for this quiz.
I think we need to ask Lockheed Martin what the message is.
Yeah, LM400 is the message.
Is the message. So the satellite, the spacecraft here that Lockheed Martin is launching, that's the client payload today. Like we mentioned earlier, LM400 is a satellite. It's like a demonstration satellite.
Yeah,
that has
tech demo.
All sorts of different capabilities, right?
Yeah, radar, imaging, kind of communication stuff. Yeah, which is, again, message in a booster. That was the inspiration for the name.
So either the spacecraft is the message, or the spacecraft can send whatever message you need it to send, because it's a demonstration satellite.
I'm picturing like a little alpha-shaped glass bottle bobbing through the ocean with the little LM400 inside.
Nice. If you see when we do some of the scene transitions, you can see the mission patch there as well, and you sort of have the rolled up message coming out of the top of the booster.
Fun fact, it also makes a little 6.
It does make a little 6. See, we're supposed to point that out at the end, but we're going to point it out right now because Chad asked the question.
Point it out right now, yeah.
Now, one more thing you'll see here. Oh, the sun has come up in the background there. It gives us a rocket silhouette to work with. The venting that you see coming out of the rocket. A bunch of people are asking, is the rocket leaking? Is that normal for the venting to be coming out of the rocket? Does that mean it has a hole in it or something? I guess technically it does have a hole, but it's an intentional engineered control hole, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this also kind of ties back to recycle. When we fill our cryogenic fluid, we fill it comparatively warm to what some companies might fill. Some companies do something that's basically called like load and go, where as soon as they fill their cryogenic fluid, the cryogenic fluid is as cold as they can get it, and they have to go immediately. What FireFly does is a little bit different. We load warm, and the entire time the Alpha's out there sitting on the pad, it is actually boiling off liquid oxygen, getting to kind of that steady state. So what you're seeing right there is that boil off, and as we have some of that LOX boil off, as it gets colder and colder, we will actually refill as needed.
Right, and you see that there. It's almost like I say it's like a tea kettle, and people are like, yeah, a rocket's nothing like a tea kettle. I mean, but kind of. Like the physics that are happening here, the boil off, you don't want the rocket to build up pressure, go higher and higher and higher. You actually maintain that pressure by releasing some of the I guess propellant is really the right way to say it, right?
Yeah, we run into this during test as well. So our testing campaigns, we test the hell out of this thing. So a lot of part of my job is actually making sure that our structures are capable to withstand flight loading.
It's more involved than just tapping on the structures, right?
More involved than just tapping, yeah. So what we'll do is we'll take each individual airframe out to test stand 4, TS4, and we'll hook it up to our big load head, and we'll squish it. We'll squish it, and we'll press it. If it is a cryogenic tank, we'll fill it with a cryogenic fluid.
Readiness report for terminal count will be in 1 minute.
Good deal. You have 1 minute to finish your answer.
1 minute to finish.
It's going to be 20 minutes there on the clock, it sounds like.
But yeah, we'll fill it with cryo fluid if it's a cryo tank. We'll press it to the pressures that we expect to see during flight loads. Actually, we'll press it to a little bit over just to make sure.
It's a margin.
But it's a margin. We over-test it a little bit. And we'll do the same thing with the load that we apply axially. And yeah, after we do that, we'll inspect it. I'll hop inside and I'll tap around with my little hammer. Yeah, and then we'll actually close it up, give it to integration. At that point, I'm mostly hands-off. And integration will then bolt it all together into a stage, and we'll test the stage where we'll just run it through kind of like this, but chopped in half.
All right. So, folks, again, we're getting ready to hear another go, no-go poll here in just about 15 seconds. Let's listen back into Mission Control and get the best information straight from them.
This is the launch conductor on the countdown net with a ready report for terminal count. RC.
Go.
FSW.
Go.
GSW.
Go.
GNC.
Go.
Prop 1.
Go.
Fluids 1.
Go.
Structures.
Go.
AVI.
AVI, go.
FTS.
Go.
GC.
Go.
BC.
Go.
PMM.
Go.
LWO.
Go.
FISBO.
Go.
MIFCO. OSM.
Go.
ROC.
Go.
MA.
Go.
CE.
C's go.
LD.
Go.
LDA.
LDA, clear to launch.
Terminal count, LCC gate has been met.
BC, run terminal count auto sequence.
Copy. Auto's running.
All right,
BC,
folks.
pop out auto sequence.
Got a lot of
display
goes
and be ready
there.
to abort. Navigate to the autos page for monitoring and access to the hang fire button.
Copy.
GC, pop out the safety tab, go to the FireX page. Only LD can call out individual FireX commands prior to liftoff.
Copy.
All right, so now under 19 minutes, you saw the green, or you heard the goes all the way down the board. The clock is once again ticking for Flight 6 here. It's FireFly's Alpha rocket launching out of Vandenberg Space Force Base. Now, since we're back under the 20-minute mark, using a little bit of that window, let's once again talk through what we expect as we count down to launch. Things are going to start happening very quickly here. They happen really quickly. We got that hold. And now they're going to start happening quickly again.
They're going to do it again. Rewind. We're going to do this all over again. Yeah, so pretty soon here, we're going to, again, recheck everything that we checked before.
Right.
Just to ensure, again, everything is still healthy. So we're going to do that stage 1 engine chill again. We're going to pull in that ground side prep, so the T-tab, the TVC wiggles you should see again on the cameras. Same thing with spin start verifications. You won't be able to see that, but it'll be happening in the background. We'll start fuel pre-press at T-minus 8 minutes. And then at T-minus 7 minutes, you should be seeing some stage 2 TVC wiggles. So
they'll happen. I don't know if we have a camera on the stage 2.
Oh, do we not?
I don't know. We'll see. If we see it on the screen, we'll see it.
Master doesn't know?
Yeah,
jeez. At T-minus 6 minutes, Alpha will actually transition to internal power.
Right.
So right now she's hooked up to ground side, and we do that because why waste internal batteries if we don't have to?
Yeah, you don't need to sit there on the ground for 2 hours on internal power. Just you plug into sort of shore power.
Yeah, exactly. We're plugged into shore power, but we need to make sure that, again, all about the health of the system, that Alpha can run under internal power just as it's expected.
Right.
So we unplug it at around T-minus 6 minutes, and we transition to that internal power state.
Yep.
Do some health checks, that kind of good stuff.
You give it some time to make sure, like you unplug it, and then you let the rocket run on its own to make sure that everything's working in advance of launch. You don't just unplug it right at T0 and see if it works.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not how it is.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll also start to see at around T-minus 5 minutes and 45 seconds, those collar arms will start to open. So the collar arms, you can kind of see them in this shot. They're right below the white S2 LOX tank on the very top. So those guys will open up, and it's kind of just to...
There you go.
Yeah, there they are. Yeah, so they'll open up and pull back just to kind of get out of the way. What that does is to help stabilize Alpha during high wind conditions.
Right.
Vandy is right next to the ocean, super windy out there, and there are certain cases where we can't let Alpha stand if it's too windy.
Right.
So the collar arm's going to help stabilize.
It's just like it clamps onto the sides of the rocket. And the strong back here, the strong back's on the right-hand side of your view. Still sort of see it there. That's a great shot of the strong back.
Yeah.
Providing additional support. You don't need to carry that structure to space with you.
I would hope not.
Would not be a thing. That's a very Kerbal
heavy.
Space Program if that goes with you. But that will sort of get back out of the way. The collar arms open up. We'll see if we see that happening here. What is that? T-minus 5 minutes 45 seconds. So just about 10 minutes from now, we'd expect that to happen.
Yeah.
And then the strong back.
And the strong back. Yeah, the strong back itself will completely kind of pull back at an angle. And that's just to get out of the way because, well, A, we don't need the support when we're about to go, and
right.
B, we don't want to crisp it while we're going. We want to make sure it's kind of a safe distance away.
You've got the umbilicals and the plugs and all the things that are sort of fueling the rocket, the data, the telemetry, the shore power we sort of talked about as if Alpha was a recreational vehicle, I guess, like an RV like rolls up to the campsite and plugs in. It's kind of like that, I guess.
RV campsite, Slick 2.
Slick 2, yeah. You have to have a special pass to camp there.
Yeah, yeah.
But you don't want those to get too toasted, so by leaning that strong back out of the way, you sort of get them out of harm's way, fire's way, whichever way you want to say it.
Yeah, the point is to reuse this thing. Reuse the TVCs, excuse me. Reuse the strong back, the tail. And so, yeah, we'll pull that back out of the way, like you were saying.
Yep.
At T-minus 4 minutes, we'll actually arm the FTS. The FTS is required on all launch vehicles.
And the FTS is the flight termination system.
Yes, yeah. So that's kind of a standard requirement, again, for all launch vehicles.
It's a safety thing.
Just a safety thing.
Yeah.
So we'll arm that at T-minus 4 minutes. And then at T-minus, you can see engine chill actually on the cameras.
That. Well, you can see it for a second. I mean, I guess what you see is the propellants actually flowing through the engines to thermally condition them, get them down to that operating temperature. Look at that.
Yeah, so you can see right there on the kind of bottom right side of the screen, it's very gaseous right now. It's very thin and kind of airy. As we start to chill in more, that will look more and more like fluid, kind of like water.
Like a liquid coming out instead of a little puff of gas.
Yeah, and why it's doing that is again, this fluid is negative 300 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
So as soon as it hits the hot Vandy air, it is flashing into gas.
Right. In fact, you can almost see like spurts on the one. We really do argue for these sorts of cameras, like the wide beauty shots that like show, oh, here's the rocket on the launch pad. It's fantastic. But the engineering cameras are always like, can we please get can we get the engine bell cam?
Those are my favorites. Can
we get the TVC cam, please? Like, yeah, we'd like to see the up close of the collars retracting. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
How do we get that?
Yeah, they're great to see. It's honestly kind of a testament to just the insane engineering that goes into kind of putting a rocket together like this.
Right.
To actually see it on camera.
Excellent. As the sun continues to come up there, we're getting some really good backlighting on the venting, the plumes there sort of coming off the top of the first stage, I guess that's sort of the top of the second stage, in the middle of the second stage there. Mm-hmm. It's very vapory. It's hard to see exactly where it's coming from. But
yeah, that's coming out of our kind of our inner stage. So the top of our first stage, the bottom of our second stage.
Gotcha. So again, here, folks, this morning, counting down, just about to cross T-minus 13 minutes. You see the sun rising over there in the east out at Vandenberg Space Force Base. Alpha's on the pad, payload's on top, and we continue to count down. Mission control's there, too. They're important. We'll show mission control right as well. But if you're just joining us, we did clear through a little bit of a hold. We're going towards sort of the middle part of the window here, but we did have a window this morning. We had time to recycle, and we let you listen right in to mission control as the teams stepped through all of those recycle steps, made sure everything was good to go. Don't trust that, just because it was fine the first time, it's going to be fine the second time. They went through that whole poll again. In fact, you heard them poll to begin the recycle.
Yes.
And that was cool. You actually have to make sure everybody's ready to start the recycle operations. And then we heard them poll for another go. And the clock is counting down right now because we did get that second go. And we are down to almost T-minus 12 minutes. Now, been taking some more questions from chat over here. I did see once again folks asking where they might be able to see the rocket from. As the sun gets a little bit higher in the sky, it'll be a little bit brighter, so maybe a little bit difficult to see from some of the further away locations, all the way over in Phoenix or all the way up to Portland. That might be a little bit far out as the sun brightens up the sky a little bit. But if you're down there in LA, make sure after you see it launch on the stream, step outside, look out over the ocean, see if you can't see Alpha going down south. It's a southern trajectory this morning carrying that Lockheed Martin satellite, and you may see it going past. Here's a viewing map. It actually takes the rocket a little bit of time to travel downrange. So here at T plus 45, 50 seconds, there's Los Angeles about a minute in. So if you see it launch on the stream, you do have time to step out your door and look. All the way down to San Diego at about a minute and a half. 2 minutes, you know, like I said, Salt Lake City, Portland, way inland, like Arizona, New Mexico, Albuquerque, Phoenix there. That might be more difficult with the sun a little bit brighter in the sky. But, you know, what do you have to lose? If you see it launch here on the stream, step outside, look over to the west, snag a picture on social media. If you get something on your phone or your doorbell camera or whatever, tag us over on social media. We love to see how other people experience the launches here, especially when you're able to see them from all these different locations all up and down the west coast of the United States this morning.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to sprint out of the control room.
You shouldn't do that.
Studio and try and stir up in the sky, but I would like to.
The circle does not reach Austin, Texas, which is where we are broadcasting from today.
What a shame.
Let's see. I guess real quickly, we're broadcasting from Austin, Texas, because that's where FireFly is based. That's where the headquarters is.
Yes, our headquarters is in a place called Cedar Park.
Right.
It's a little bit north of Austin downtown. And then we actually have our manufacturing and test facility like 30-ish minutes north of Cedar Park. So
that's the test stands, right?
Yeah, that's Briggs. People call it Rocket Ranch sometimes. Yeah, it's pretty close by, which is nice and also sometimes annoying.
It's like, can you run up to Briggs real quick?
Yeah, it's like, yes, I can, but also, man, again.
Just remember, there's structures up at Briggs. Like, that's where you want to go hang out.
Those are my people.
All right, folks. 9 minutes and 40 seconds from the new T0 here. Let's once again run through what we expect to see after liftoff. Again, when the rocket lifts off the pad, we're going to let you listen in to the sounds of the pad, the rumble of the rocket as it goes downrange. So now is the time to talk through it while the rocket is sitting serenely on the pad. Morgan, what can we expect after liftoff? Or right before liftoff and then after liftoff?
Yeah. So we'll run through it again. At T minus 2 seconds, you'll see those reavers, you'll see the candle light. So they'll start going before the rocket is allowed to lift off the pad.
Right.
Again, we do this so that the reavers, we can make sure that they're healthy, they're allowed to spool up into full power, all that good stuff. We want to make sure that if we needed to kind of abort and hold, we could do that. So that is what that extra 2 seconds is for right before launch.
Right.
And then at T minus 0 seconds, we actually release the mechanisms that are clamping Alpha down to the pad.
Right.
And Alpha will start to lift away from the ground. At about T plus 56 seconds, if memory serves, we'll hit Mach 1, so we'll go supersonic. And then at T plus 1 minute and 6 seconds, we'll hit something called max Q.
Right.
Again, that's max aerodynamic pressure.
Até o momento tudo segue agora em ordem, faltando então aí 8 minutos e 20 segundos para o lançamento. 11 horas e 1 minuto pelo horário de Brasília.
That has to be the most force that happens on the rocket, but it's actually a function of the weight of the rocket.
Wake up, Alpha.
We hear the giant voice going in the background out of Vandenberg, it sounds like. The wake-up call for Alpha.
Yeah.
It's actually a function of
Porque lá agora
the density of the air.
nos Estados Unidos, né, em Vandenberg, né, como estamos na base militar, são 6 horas da manhã. Lá no Pacífico, então por isso que eles trocaram a tormenta. 7 horas e 40 minutos. 7 horas e 40 minutos. 7 horas, 7 minutos e 40 minutos para o 40 segundos para o lançamento.
So what? It's different for rockets and airplanes, but for rockets, yeah, you're exactly right. Like as we're
até o momento tudo segue em andamento, em ordem.
Right.
Aí então com o nosso veículo Alpha.
The airframe is stressed as much as we expect to see it stressed during flight.
Vamos continuar então
Again, that
acompanhando a
happens at T
transmissão.
plus 1 minute and 6 seconds. That is called max Q. And then about, not quite, a little over a minute after that, we'll actually hit MECO, which is main engine cutoff.
Right.
You'll see the reavers shut down and we'll kind of coast for a couple seconds. And then we'll have nominal stage SEP at T plus 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Right after that, lightning will kick off and we'll start to kind of pull away with stage 2.
Right.
And nominal fairing jettison will happen shortly after that. They've protected the payload for its trip to space. We don't need that mass anymore.
Yep.
So we shed it. And then we'll be burning for about 6 minutes, a little less than 6 minutes until we hit SECO, which is our second engine cutoff. And then today is actually something important to note is we do have a planned comms blackout at T plus 9 minutes and 17 seconds after SECO.
Okay, so going down with the southern trajectory, going to be flying a lot over the Pacific Ocean, and that expected planned comms blackout means we will no longer have vehicle telemetry coming back in real time, and we'll no longer have the vehicle cameras that we hope to share it with you as long as we can. But that comms blackout is actually going to last a little bit longer this morning, all the way up to T plus almost 35 minutes.
Yeah, it lasts quite a while because we're effectively, like you said, we're going over the Pacific Ocean. There's no ground stations down there. We don't have line of sight to anything.
Right.
The Pacific Ocean is pretty big.
Like out of range of the rocket cell phone towers.
Yeah.
It's not really, you know what I mean.
But yeah, close enough.
It's close.
And
trying to make it accessible for people. Like, you drove too far. You don't have cell signal anymore.
Hey, I think if anybody's watching this rocket launch at the time it is in the morning, they're interested about rockets. At least I hope so. But yeah, we'll actually have our payload deployment in that planned comms blackout. So that will happen at T plus 12 minutes and 42 seconds. So we won't actually see it live today. We're going to regain comms again at T plus 34 minutes, so way after the payload actually deploys.
Right. And the important thing here is while all this is happening, the rocket isn't sending the telemetry to the ground in real time, but the rocket's recording everything that's happening. It's recording the telemetry, the data, it's recording video even, and then when we regain that ground station, we're going to start downlinking that information. Now, of course, much to my chagrin as the video camera guy, the telemetry comes first.
Yeah.
The important data, the bits and bobs, I guess mostly bits there, that tell us the health of the vehicle and exactly what happened, those come down first, and it will take quite some time longer to get the more heavier payloads from a data perspective. The video files come down so that those can be shared. But we are now less than 5 minutes away from launch. And stand by for more information.
E tivemos mais uma vez hold.
As you can see in the upper left-hand corner, it looks like we have encountered another hold here. We saw that pop up. We are going to get you more information on the current status. Hang in there with us and we'll let you know the cause of this hold. All right, folks, got you some more information on the cause of this hold. It sounds like the hold is due to GSE, something with the power systems that teams are currently working through and assessing their options. Now, remember, we did have a window this morning. So we had started off the day with a 52-minute launch window. Still have some time to work through things here, but we will keep you up to date on this current status. We're going to listen in just a little bit here and see what information we can get. But again, we are in a hold of Flight 6, Firefly's Alpha rocket.
Prop 1.
Go.
AVI.
Go for recycle.
FTS.
Go.
FISPO.
Go.
MIFCO. PMM.
Go.
MA.
Go.
OSM.
Mais uma vez então aí,
Go for
novo,
recycle.
MD. LD.
novo range, do novo para o lançamento.
FSW.
Go.
On CD1, we've set the clock for 14:29:47. That is the last minute available in the window. We will be moving towards that and doing the last poll before terminal count.
It sounds like the update from Mission Control there is that they are looking at a new T0 that is near the end of the window. Again, did have some time here today in that 52-minute launch window to work through issues as they arose. And it sounds like that is the current plan. The poll you just heard was the recycle poll. Remember, there's the go polls to make sure everything's ready to go. And if they need to coordinate stepping into a
Agora 11 horas 8 minutos pelo horário de Brasília. Estamos aguardando então um novo tempo de lançamento, o T0 para o lançamento. Estamos aguardando então aí. Estamos então com um novo T0 para o lançamento neste momento.
But we'll see if that clock that we have been shared with here is going to be the attempt that they are going for. If we hear anything back from Mission Control, we will let y'all listen in.
Deixa eu ajustar aqui o cronômetro.
Sort of the expectations here, and we were mentioning how that the ground stations work, and the telemetry comes down from the rocket, and we know that there's that planned communications blackout after launch. About less than 10 minutes after launch, we're going to go into a known planned communication blackout, right, Morgan?
That's correct, yeah. So we'll pass out of line of sight from any ground stations, and we won't get back in line of sight of any until T plus about 35 minutes.
Então, novo tempo aí, então, aí ajustado para as 11h29. 11h29 da manhã.
It's okay. We want to know the health of the vehicle. We want to get that telemetry down first. So that is the top priority, to downlink from the vehicle when it regains access to a ground station. Now today, we expect the video payload, or the video replay of the payload deploy, to not come through until T plus 95 minutes, almost an hour and or actually more than an hour and a half after launch. So with that delay, the plan here today is after we get a liftoff, we are going to stop the live views from the rocket after SECO when we enter that planned communications blackout. We won't have anything to show you except me and Morgan, basically. And we'll talk through a couple more things there, but that is intentional today. When we cut that stream, it's because we don't have any more telemetry or video coming back down from the rocket. And the time that it's going to take us to get that video downlinked, an hour and a half afterwards, we'd love to hang out and just talk about structures for an hour and a half, right?
I would love to ramble about structures for as long as you'll let me. You might, Andrew might have to stop me in the background because I would absolutely start to get towards proprietary territory just because of how excited I would be.
With 95 minutes, we could actually hop in the car and drive up to Briggs and then go live from Briggs again.
Oh, yeah.
Future live stream. We're tossing out ideas for the comms team here. But that is a plan today. We will begin to stop the stream here when we receive, or when we're not receiving the telemetry or the video from the vehicle. And the next time we get that delicious visual assets to share with you, the downlink of the payload deploy, that would be so long after liftoff that we will not stay live that entire time. So just setting some expectations there. We know that there's going to be a comms blackout. It's how physics and, I guess, geography works, right? There's just no ground station where the rocket is flying over. And the amount of time it takes to downlink these files will be such that we do intend to intentionally stop the stream before we get to payload deploy. So where are we at? T minus 18 minutes, 18 minutes, 45 seconds. Again, if we get more updates from Mission Control, we'll let you know if that is the time that's going to stick. Are they going for the very end of the window now? We will get you that information as well. But we appreciate you hanging out with us. Let's see if we can't find another couple questions from chat. Give me just a second to read through some of them. I guess remember, if you have questions for us, you can tag us in chat. Just FireFly space over there in the YouTube chat. All right. Don't forget, tag us in chat over there, folks, and we will see if we can answer some questions, because we do have a little bit of time. Does everybody need to know what happens before and after liftoff again? I think we've covered that one pretty securely here.
I think people get a little annoyed if we cover that again.
You know what I'm interested in is the next liftoff. Back there at Briggs, you were talking about having more rockets sort of in the barn, structures in various phases of production for the next flight. Not how many, but do you have a bunch? Do you have room for more rockets at Briggs?
We kind of don't. At least not in Building 6, which is where all the structures are made.
Right.
We have 3 rockets beyond Flight 6 currently in various manufacturing stages. So yeah, you can't walk around Building 6 without bumping into one structure or
Bumping
another.
into structures.
Yeah, we have upgraded our tools and processes like crazy. And that's why we can have so many in development at once. I talked about AFP before, that big robotic arm that can lay down strips of carbon fiber.
Yep, very precise, repeatable manner.
Yeah, exactly. We also have something called a 7-axis power mill drill. It's another big robotic arm, because those are a fan favorite. And the purpose of that one is to be able to kind of trim the ends of the barrel.
Hold. GNC.
Go when the clock is fixed.
Prop 1.
Go.
Fluids 1.
Hold on helium.
Structures.
Go.
AVI.
Go.
FTS.
Go.
GC.
Go.
VC.
Go.
PMM.
Go.
Elbow.
Go.
FISPO.
Go.
MIFCO.
OSUM. Shut down.
MIFCO.
Go.
OSUM.
Go.
ROC.
Go.
MA.
Go.
CE.
Hold.
LD.
It's from the restarts. If you reload your plots, you should be able to mostly see
I need a
things.
clock. Hold.
Go.
Será que hoje não vai? Não, né? Estamos aí acompanhando o novo range, novo tabelamento então do Vulnerable para o lançamento. Estamos aí com dificuldades então, aí para o lançamento hoje, né? Não sabemos o motivo ainda. A princípio deve ser por conta de
All right, as we were stepping through the poll there, it sounds like we heard a couple of holds. One was helium there. I think Fluid said a hold on helium. And then one was software, I think, Morgan?
Yeah. Ground support software? Yeah.
All right, so let's see what happened. There was also a call for a correction to the clock. We had sort of alluded to that. We knew the clock was up there, but we wanted to verify whether or not that clock was what they were counting down towards. Still at T-minus 15 minutes. We don't have the hold officially up there yet, so let's see if we can't get some more information for you. Of course, like we said, letting you listen into Mission Control. All right, brief update. It sounds like the clock that they are currently targeting is the last second of the window. We had 52 minutes this morning, and the T0 that they are working towards is the last second of that 52-minute window, literally using all the time available to get Alpha off the pad this morning. All right, folks, there you heard it straight from Mission Control. The fastest information you could get, but they have called a scrub for the day. Couple anomalies they were working, you heard right there from Mission Control. We'll get you a little bit more information on that, but if you're following along, officially Alpha's Flight 6 out there at Vandenberg is scrubbed for today. Now, we'll talk through just a couple more things here with you. It's not unexpected. Scrubs happen. I mean, the thing that I usually end up saying is that you'd rather be on the ground wishing you were flying than flying you were wishing you were on the ground. Morgan, let's talk